like to call to order the regular council meeting, Tuesday, January 24th, 2017. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Ceresi?
Here.
Mr. Roden?
Here.
Ms. McFerrin?
Here.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Here.
Mr. Steele?
Here.
Mr. Scafidi?
Here.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Just a reminder, as I was just reminded, council, please try to speak into your microphone. I'm horrible at that. I usually back away from it, so I get phone calls every couple of weeks telling me that they couldn't hear what I said. Probably a good thing. Next, we'll have the invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Mr. Roden. Please stand.
Father, you guide and govern everything with order and love. Look upon the assembly of our city's leaders and fill them with the spirit of your wisdom. May they always act in accordance with your will, and their decisions be for the peace and well-being of all. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of minutes from January 10th. Are there any changes, corrections? None? The minutes then will be approved as written. Next, we have audience participation.
First, we have Deb Jones.
Good evening, everyone.
Name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Deborah Haney-Jones. My friends know me as Deb Jones. I live at 3009 Waterford Drive. I've been a resident for 19 years. And I'm an avid golfer and on leagues at Glen Eagles. So I'm here today because I'm also the chair of the Golf Advisory Board. And I wanted to speak about the clubhouse. Okay. I'm very much in favor of the new clubhouse. As I mentioned, I live on Waterford Drive, and I don't have any concerns with the architecture layout, and I don't have any concerns with bringing an entertainment-ish complex right into our residential neighborhood. In fact, I think it's a positive move. I know I, for one, can walk there, but the draw of the community in the east northern Twinsburg area, I think is a wonderful, wonderful draw. Now, the new clubhouse, in my opinion, is obviously going to draw in a lot more golf outings, and golf outings are money makers for us, and they obviously have the food component to it, so it's a double positive in my book. Having dining and bar service, I think will draw in non-golfers and people who are just looking for somewhere different to eat. It seems to me that we don't have that many nice upscale restaurants in the Twinsburg area, and I think this has an opportunity to offer a factor in that area, maybe not the whole menu, but an option there. I also believe that we'll have weddings, we'll have showers, wedding showers, baby showers, we'll have business meetings, business summits, business conferences all in the ballroom area. I like the idea that they have the partitions so that you can have a meeting for 20, or you can have a meeting for 200. I also feel that it brings in other non-golfers, but also family entertainment. We've heard from some people that they have leagues for bocce ball and very interested in bringing that to Glen Eagles. And these leagues stay and eat and drink afterwards. That's what we do. Today, being on the golf league, we go elsewhere, so we don't have an option. We've also discussed putt-putt, bring in the children aspect to the golf course, and another idea for the conference rooms when they're not being used is to have pickleball, and that's a very growing sport, if you will, these days, especially with the aging population. The other aspect is the golf carts that we currently have at Glen Eagles are really subpar based on all the other city-owned golf courses in the area. and almost to a point where, you know, it's an embarrassment to bring guests. And there's no sense getting a new golf fleet unless we can protect them. And the design that has the carts underneath the clubhouse, place for them to be stored, a place for them to be protected, and a place to be charged, will allow us to have some upgraded golf carts. Golf carts also, by the way, bring in money, so that's always a good thing. We have a restaurant that's very close by, Michael's Restaurant, and they just recently opened in the evenings 3 nights a week. And it's my understanding that's been an incredible success for them. So people are looking for things in our neighborhood, places that we can go to eat and socialize. The mayor has showed us the design on the Golf Advisory Board. He's also showed the numbers, and they are all based on what we would consider very solid data and information, very relevant data. We also feel that the numbers are conservative for the type of revenue we can bring in, but we also think that, or I also think that that's a good way to get started, because it will take a little bit of time to get the banquet space reserved and set up, in the golf leagues, or the golf tournament set up.
1 minute.
And I guess that's all I really have to say.
Well, thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
No, thank you so much.
Next, we have Chuck Bonacci.
Good evening, Council, President, rest of Council, Mayor, ladies, other people of power, influence, and authority of Twinsburg. My name is Chuck Bonacci. I live at 11327 Heritage Drive. And I'm here before you to talk about what I think makes Twinsburg a desirable community. In 1981, at the age of 7 years old, my parents ripped me from a community that I loved. See, I was walking distance from the trifecta of fast food: McDonald's, Mr. Hero, and Red Barn. I was also walking distance from a library that had a large children's section that I spent nearly every day at. I was walking distance from the movie theater where I saw Star Wars as a kid. Everything I had was within walking distance of where we lived, and my mom walked me everywhere. She had an awesome car that we could have went in, but we walked. On occasion, we got to go to the other end of town and go to the A&W root beer, where I would have frozen root beers, frozen mugs, and it was glorious. In contrast, 1981 Twinsburg, we moved here. Nothing, and I mean nothing, was in walking distance. And there wasn't even a McDonald's. My only choice was at Dairy Queen that I had to beg to go to the town square. Imagine being a 7-year-old kid begging your parents to go to the town square. Everything was far. There wasn't a movie theater. There wasn't a hospital. When I was a little kid, I burnt my mouth. I bit into a hard-boiled egg that I microwaved because I didn't like them cold, burnt the mouth, frickin' drive all the way to Solon. Now we have an ER. At the time, Twinsburg had multiple farms, few traffic lights, and even fewer sidewalks. The amenities we enjoy today didn't exist. They were not here. Folks that are part of the new Twinsburg have no idea. And get this, even in 1981, I was part of the new Twinsburg when we moved here, because I went to school with kids that were 3rd and 4th generation residents of this town. This whole new versus old, it's been there for a long time. Twinsburg began to grow slowly, and I had to look it up. In 1983, the glorious day, the Golden Arches, billions and billions sold to this guy, came to town. Soon it was followed by a Mr. Hero. Oh, God, love that Roman burger. Believe it or not, Twinsburg had a Mr. Hero. Then Burger King, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut rounded out my national offerings of fast food and possibly my desire for quality health care. You would have asked me years ago, Mr. Ceresi, you were a teacher when I was a young kid. Years ago, I planned to live in Twinsburg. I couldn't share that answer in this forum today publicly, because it would have been a resounding no, and with a few expletives and a whole bunch of teenage angst. But in the 1990s, Twinsburg began to explode in a different direction. I remember as a child with the growth that came quickly, or after childhood, a new aquatic park, a fitness center for folks that are interested in that, the city buying a golf course, Twinsburg had outgrown the stoplights, stop signs, and moved forward to a roundabout. Some people think they're efficient. It's perceived from what one engineer told me, but it's a dynamic community that changes. And I use the word dynamic because roundabouts are dynamic. It's a constant flow, a constant change. It took me a while to grasp it. I'll admit it. I think they're stupid. I'd rather have stoplights. But it is fascinating how the things work. Now we have 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them. You look at some plans, it looks like we're going to have 12. It's all, whatever happens, happens. Because I ask people is to think about the quality of services they get from Twinsburg. You know, the reality is there's been some crime in town lately. And there's maybe a bad guy that lives around the corner from me, and he broke into a house down the street. Our home alarm came off, and within minutes, the police were there to check us out, and we were safe. It's pretty cool. I work in Cleveland. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Fire and EMS. My mom had a brain, whatever you call it. She had a brain injury. Not like a physical one. She had a
Aneurysm?
bacteria. Meningitis, bacterial meningitis. My dad woke up. She's knocking on the wall, standing, couldn't talk. You guys came and saved her life. Pretty awesome. Not a single bill. I hear about other communities billing residents. Okay. Economic development. And we had a Chrysler plant. Now we got an Amazon distribution center. Soon I'm going to be able to buy crap, have it at my house in a day. It's absolutely awesome. I wasn't going to buy a Chrysler and have it delivered in a day. As cool as a Barracuda or a Hemi would be, it's not available in a day like that. So our service department, recycling and trash pickup. I have friends that live in other communities. They got to pay for that stuff. Some of them are too cheap, so they bring their trash to other places where they drop it off illegally. That's crazy. We have recycling single stream in our community. We do hazardous waste. We do paper shredding. We do all kinds of great stuff. So I ask you, do you like what you got? And do you trust the people that got you there? So, you know, I'd come up here and I say, got to shovel the sidewalks. Got to build bocce courts. Then I heard the golf advisory actually listen to my presentation. It's refreshing to know that, you know, the city's in hands of people that are trust. So today this council is going to vote on some very important issues. Just like every meeting, you vote on important issues. Sometimes you all approve of them, sometimes you disapprove of them. But some things that this community is important is to know it's constantly evolving. A recent survey on social media indicated that access to quality hamburgers were important to people of Twinsburg, as was quality barbecue. And some people were quick to point, barbecue restaurants are coming to town. So there's some concern about the quality of the hamburgers, and if McDonald's is going to build one, good news. McDonald's isn't the only hamburger place. The Twinsburg, what do you call it, the Berg? They have an awesome double cheeseburger. I wouldn't ever suspected a fitness center to have a quality double cheeseburger. God bless you guys.
We did that for you, Chuck.
You got me in the building.
Try to get you over there.
Chuck, your time is up.
There's great, you guys know what to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is it.
That's it? Thank you.
Tough act to follow anyway.
Yeah. Any awards or presentations this evening? None? Okay. Council Communication Committee reports. Mr. Scafidi.
Thank you. Good evening. Unlike last meeting, I have very little to say tonight, so my report will be brief. The Board of Zoning Appeals met back on January 11th, and we had appeal number 101-2017, and unfortunately, the applicant did not show. So that appeal has been moved to the next meeting, and we have another appeal on that meeting, which will be held tomorrow night, the 25th at 6:30, right here in the council chambers. And other than that, that's all I have this evening. End of my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Stauffer.
You know what? The ARB met on January 19th, and I'm going to need to report on that at our next meeting. My other committees have not met.
Okay. Mr. Fury.
Thank you. The Finance meeting met earlier this evening and saw a presentation from Financial Advisory Services, Matthew Stasinski. Hope I said that close. Thank you. And the purpose of the presentation was to talk about BANs, which are bond anticipation notes. And this is all in regards to the clubhouse. What it is it's kind of like a bridge loan. If you were going to buy a house and you have one that you own, it gives you that time to kind of delay it, the payment. The financing that was available is between a 1.28 and 1.4 range, plus some fees that would be under $100,000 a year to basically get a loan of $6 million and still have the ability at the end of that year to pay down principal. The purpose of that is so that you're not going into a lot of money right off of the construction, and you have the ability to recoup the revenue when the clubhouse opens by utilizing a very low interest rate. We also talked about just an outright selling of the loan, which had some higher fees, but still 1.36 and 1.15 rates were proposed roughly. So it would be a different option. And then long term, what the goal would be, in my opinion, and I've talked with the finance director as well as the mayor, is that we would pay down some of the amount and then go into a 20-year financing. The current rate for Twinsburg's bond or finance rating is AA2, which is an excellent credit rating, which allows us to get extremely low financing terms. And I also wanted to clear up something that some questions were. And these numbers in this process is spelled out somewhat in Ordinance 12-217. It's the last ordinance we had. It says things about bonds and property tax and things. There is not a tax proposal or a new income tax or a new property tax associated with any construction of the golf course. It'll be paid through the revenue that comes from the three new revenue areas, which would be the golf carts that we could own and get revenue back, the grill room that we would be able to subsidize or to utilize, and then the renting of the banquet room and catering that we would outsource. The idea is to outsource with just a business manager to be the sales agent for that, and as other communities have done. This is not a tax increase. We were going to utilize the same funds that we do for other things that we pay for in the city. But again, the purpose is to get the amount that we finance long-term down so that the revenues that we're expecting from those three sources that would come with this clubhouse will pay for itself and more to even further reduce any deficit that would be created by that operation. So, again, there is no tax increase. I've been here, Sam and I have been here 14 years. We've never raised property tax. It's been the same the whole time we've been here. We raised income tax once. We asked you to vote for it, and you said yes, and then we let you take it down 4 years later. So we would not raise your taxes for something without letting you vote on it, in my opinion. The next finance meeting is going to be February 28th at 6:30. The next Park and Recreation meeting will also be in February. It'll be the 23rd at 6:30. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Roden.
None of my committees have met. The Environmental Commission, well, I mean, I just was on the Finance, but Mr. Fury talked about that. Getting confused today. The Environmental Commission will meet on February 10th here in Chambers Council. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Steele.
The Planning Commission met last night. They considered two things. One was the auto dealership at the corner of Dutton and 82, which is in the old DFG. They're proposing to add on to the west side of the building. There was a discussion with them, and basically it was said they thought it was a good idea, but they needed to make sure they got all the approvals from Amy for the stormwater and stuff. I think, and then the other one that was on the agenda last night was an expansion to the south towards McDonald's of the Early Learning Center on Twin Hills. And I think they said the same, if I remember rightly, the same thing. They said okay as long as they get the stormwater issues wrapped up with Amy. So that's what went on at the Planning Commission.
Thank you. Ms. McPherson.
None of my committees have met, but I did attend the finance meeting tonight.
Okay. And for myself, the Twins Day Committee will meet next Wednesday, February 1st. And I have a motion that I'd like to bring forward. Recently, we passed a motion for the Stars Ballroom to serve wine and mixed drinks at the November 8th council meeting. They would now like to have added to that the ability to serve beer. So I'd like to make a motion that the city council does not oppose the new liquor permit for Stars Ballroom LLC located on East Aurora Road and authorize the clerk to submit the form to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control. Is there a second? Mr. Fury seconds. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
The motion passes 7-0. And that's all that I had. Mayor.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I've said a lot of comments regarding this golf course project, but I guess I'm going to say a few more. You know, I thank Ms. Jones for her comments and a few people in the crowd that I've talked to that support this project. You know, this has been, this happened prior to my administration, something I've supported all along. I was very skeptical, very hesitant when I first took office. This thing was ready to go the same time last year, but I wasn't comfortable moving forward with it yet. I wanted to spend some time researching, talking to other golf courses, looking at the industry, looking at a lot of different things. I mean, and so this project got delayed. I also wanted to work with council and department heads on our budget. And there were certain things that I wanted to just get a level of comfort with. As much as I love our course and I'd love to see these improvements, at the time I just really wasn't comfortable with it. I would not present and support this type of investment you know, in a city-owned facility if I didn't think it was the right decision. You know, I've always tried to make my decisions with a lot of research, a lot of thinking, a lot of thought, a lot of, you know, going out and having as much discussions and researching as much as I can. So I would ask council to support this tonight. I believe it's the right move. You know, we have to make a change there. We're in a facility that we're not sure what's going to happen to it day to day. And, you know, what we proposed, in essence, I think Mr. Fury said it during our finance meeting maybe, but in essence is kind of what was proposed 15 years ago. And the city has been talking about it and not talking about it and back and forth. And it's offering the same different revenue lines that I feel we need there to be able to get that course to a position to break even. You know, we had a discussion. Everyone gets concerned about the restaurant business, and I agree. The restaurant business is a risky business. We're not building another Blue Canyon. This is a grill room with about 40 seats. So is it bigger than a snack bar and better than a snack bar? Yeah, it's going to be. Is it a place you could take your family and sit down? Yes, that's what I'm expecting. Is it going to be a Hyde Park? No, it's not going to be that. It's not going to have the overhead. It's not going to have the cost associated with it. But it's going to be additional benefit to what we have currently there today. And I think, and I agree, I think the northern part of that community could use a place to walk to or to drive to or take their family to dinner. Unfortunately, Twinsburg doesn't have a lot when it comes to restaurants and places to go out. We take our money outside of Twinsburg. I'm not a huge proponent like Mr. Bonacci of fast food, so I go elsewhere to have dinner. But, you know, it's one of those things where I think it can be a tremendous asset to this community. You know, what I really got hung up on when I was researching all this was the banquet facility. I just couldn't envision how we would spend the additional money in the square footage and what we would be able to recoup from a revenue standpoint until I started really researching how banquet facilities work, and spent a lot of time with Mr. Roden, who's very knowledgeable, has been in the industry for 20 plus years.
Thank you.
About how that revenue stream works. And we've had some discussions with other courses and other operators of the banquet arena, and there's significant dollars that can be generated. You know, we still have a need. I mean, I know there's facilities within 15 miles from here, but Twinsburg still has a need for an upscale banquet facility, and what we've designed I think is beautiful. Glass back, you know, a big deck that overlooks the lake and a green. And to me, that's a beautiful place to have any kind of function. So I just want the residents to know that I have not taken this decision lightly. I haven't taken my support of it lightly. I've spent a lot of time researching both in this office and outside of this office, trying to make sure that what I was going to propose and what I was going to try to support was going to be hopefully the right move for our golf course. The industry itself, and I've learned a lot about it. I had concerns. We had courses closing all around us, but really what we have is a correction in the market. If you start reading in the 1990s, and Glen Eagles was one of them, all the developments that were built golf courses and surrounded them. And, really we had this overpopulation of golf courses that have been correcting itself over the last 5 or 10 years. So I'm not concerned when I see golf courses closing. I think we've got a gem of one in our city, and hopefully as those close, more golfers are going to come and want to come spend time in Twinsburg. So I just wanted to share that before I go into, my report's not big, but I just wanted to share those comments, and I apologize if I've repeated some of the same comments over the last couple of weeks, but I know this is a big decision for our council. It's a big undertaking for our city, but I guess those are my thoughts and why I guess I support it. On a lighter note, past couple of weeks I did attend I'm a big proponent of wellness, and I was able to attend the school has the last couple of years put on a wellness program for the kids and for parents, and it was a great event. Mark Bendis organizes that for the school, so it's nice to see the school really trying to promote that to our kids. Coming up, I'm not sure if anyone else announced it, this week we have the Chamber Women's Expo, so if, it's not just for women. I showed up last year, but it is a really packed event. It's at the Hilton Garden Inn, so I encourage everyone to go attend that event. There's, I don't know how many vendors, probably 50, 70, 80 vendors there. So it's a great event. So I would encourage you to go do
And
that.
free.
And free, yeah. Some of the things that we've been working around, and when I took office was thrown into, and I've mentioned this early on in the year, was, Chris Collette may be talking about this too. I apologize if you are, but our healthcare renewal we've been negotiating, and when we took over, our claims, our loss ratio was around 126%, which is very difficult. Means the insurance company paid out 26% more than the premium we paid them. So it was a very difficult position to be in to negotiate. We made some changes, we did some things, and between, I think, some shift to an HSA program between some of our employees, and hopefully our wellness program that's been a success this past 6 months that we're getting ready to kick off again, we're now hovering around 80%. So much better position to negotiate our rates this year. We were probably 5% lower than what the industry average is in this area. So it was a big success, and a lot to Colette, that wellness program that we have going, and our employees who are participating in it. Lastly, I just want to announce on February 16th, I will be doing State of the City. It's a breakfast event. You can go on the Chamber's website if you'd like to go to that, but that will be the morning of February 16th. And that is all I have. So we've got some department head reports. Colette, did you report anything?
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Civil Service Commission met on January 12th, and they approved a fire entrance exam for March 18th. It's going to be over at Dodge. More details are on the website already. They did pass a motion that was introduced by Chief Morgan. He asked that for the physical agility test that the firefighters take at Tri-C, they have to pass the test in 7 minutes, and the chief wants them to be able to pass the test in 5 minutes. So that's going to be the requirement that we're requiring as a city. He said other cities are starting to require a more fit person, I guess is what it kind of amounts to. So it will be a 5-minute physical agility requirement on that for our candidates for the test. So like I said, everything's on the website. The next meeting for the Civil Service Commission is March 16th. From the IT department, Don sent me this today. I usually try to summarize some of the IT stuff, but I didn't know how to summarize this, so here it is. He's working on the design and getting quotes for the addition of a network IDF, intermediate distribution frame, and rewiring at the police department. This will allow us to clean up and simplify the existing wiring in the records office, remove a couple of existing subpar pieces of equipment, and make it easier to add additional network drops in the future. This is part of a project that has already been started to expand the city's network at City Hall, the Fitness Center, and the Police Department. This includes 2 new 48-port PoE, Power over Ethernet switches. One was installed at City Hall the week of the 9th, and this installation displaced an existing 24-port model with the same capabilities, which was moved over to the Fitness Center that same week to expand the network over there. Okay, so Zach, our part-time network administrator, assisted with our consultants at NET with some of these installations. After the installation of a wall-mounted enclosed rack and the physical rewiring of the sergeants and patrol offices, which with 28 they relocated 28 network drops. I'm almost done. The second new 48-port switch, along with a UPS uninterruptible power supply, will be installed in the patrol office. Okay, so that's from Don. And then also, though, a little bit easier to understand is we're in round 2 of our security training. You guys probably all, I think you guys are on that too, council, that you have to go into that security training so that we don't start clicking on the wrong things. From Mark in the IT department, as you know, Mark does our communications and media kind of stuff. The council meetings are now produced and uploaded in high definition to our YouTube channel. They're still running in standard definition on our cable channel 16 because Time Warner Spectrum has no plans of providing the city with high-def channels. We have changed the airing time for council and Board of Education meetings to provide a better opportunity for the audience to see both. So the city council meetings air on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., and on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 1 and 10. And the Board of Education airs on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 1 and 10 p.m., and on Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. We had our project kickoff call last Wednesday with the Forerunner Technologies, our new phone system. So that's a go. Everything's in place to hopefully get that completed and installed by the end of February. So that's from IT. For Human Resources, as Ted said, we met with Oswald, our brokers, last week, and we had a good renewal, so we're excited about that. Getting all prepared for our open enrollment meetings with our employees the first, 7, 8, and 9 of February. We try to do it 3 different days so we can hit our fire and police. We're also going to have an evening meeting this year so that we can bring spouses, because a lot of the spouses have questions, and they can really come to any of the meetings, but we thought an evening meeting would be good so the spouses come and ask questions about the benefits. And then otherwise, just kind of in the process of preparing the documents for the open enrollment meetings, for the seasonal hiring. All our seasonal jobs are on the websites. If you know anybody looking, if we've got golf course out there, service department, parks and rec, all the camp leaders, lifeguards, all that stuff is all on the internet too. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Derek?
Good evening. I do want to thank Mr. Bonacci for the shout out for the burger. Yes, it is a good double cheeseburger. I don't eat that meat, so I didn't try it, but I've heard it's good. But check out the burger. I mean, it has some great wraps, salads, smoothies, coffee, all sorts of stuff, some healthy breakfast options as well. So I do hope you try it out. I do want to mention the bicentennial. We have begun. We're in the 200th anniversary of Twinsburg. It was 2017. And I come to this council almost a year ago, I think, at that point, to let you know that the Bicentennial Commission was meeting. We appropriated some funds for it. So all that's coming to fruition here. We should be, everyone in Twinsburg Township, and Reminderville should be receiving a postcard in the mail. You can use that postcard in the mail to then get the book that the city of Twinsburg, Reminderville, and Township had published. So that'll be postcards are due out mid to end of February, with the book pickup starting in March. So get a look out for that poster. You can start seeing banners coming up on telephone poles. You'll see signs attached to the entrance limit signs to Twinsburg, Reminderville, and the township as well. So really our, bicentennial is coming. We'll have some events coming up as well for the bicentennial. I'll roll it out to everyone when we get there. But be on the lookout for the postcard coming in the mail. Last weekend and this weekend was the Twinsburg Community Theater production of The Little Mermaid. If you haven't seen it, it is really spectacular. We had a great attendance this past weekend and looking to have great attendance for this coming weekend. It takes place at the high school. You can go to twinsburgtheater.com and purchase tickets for that, or you can come up to the community center Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30 to buy tickets as well. A couple other things, the fitness center locker room project that you had approved for the pool will start by the end of last week in February, first week in March. So there will be some traffic patterns in the fitness center that are changed once the poolside locker rooms are shut down. Another thing, speaking of shutdown, mobile meals that's been it was the Nesca building and then it moved up to our building, is no longer going to be run out of the city community center effective at the end of this month. So we're working out right now how we can kind of continue that program internally for probably 15 to 25 people that probably count on that almost daily, Monday through Friday, for some sort of food. So we're talking to a couple of local companies that provide that to the schools and that can maybe pick it up for us and working out a grant for that. So we'll be rolling that out, letting you know what's exactly happening with that here shortly. And just like Colette had mentioned, it is application time. So every year I get, May 1st, I want to apply for a job, and we've selected and gotten every paperwork. So now is the time, especially for my department. So if it's lifeguard, day camp, leader, volunteer, working in the snack shop, this is the time to apply. That stuff will all be done by the end of February. So get in your applications online. The only way to submit them is online for my department, but now is the time. That's all I have.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you also for the report you put together for the comparison and the fees. I thought that was very well done.
Okay, good, thank you.
And just to let council know, Derek and Laura and I had a meeting regarding the Meals on Wheels. So I've authorized, we're going to go ahead and continue those meals. We've worked out a rate to in an interim, so we make sure that those seniors have the meals that they depend on a daily basis. So they'll continue to come in. We've got seniors that are volunteers that's going to serve them, but we're going to pay for those meals until we sort it out and have worked on some possible grants in a few months. So just let council know that.
What happened that Meals on Wheels decided to stop?
From a corporate standpoint, they just started shutting down, funding different areas that, and Twinsburg happened to be a location that they backed out of.
Okay. Well, I think we should do it.
No, absolutely. There was no hesitation when they came and talked to us. Okay. All right. Karen?
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to update you. I brought to your attention last year that we were looking into participating in the Ohio Checkbook program, and today we did have a meeting with one of the treasurers today from Josh Mandel's office, and we are going to continue to move forward with that. I just didn't want to, as you know, I brought this to you a couple of years ago, and that I didn't want to be the first. I wanted to see how it would progress, how they were presenting the information, because as you know, we already do provide transparency as it relates to all our financial statements on our own website. But this will be an additional enhancement. They've continued to refine this program, and I think it would be a good thing, one additional aspect of transparency, and giving the residents an opportunity to see more, dig deeper into our financial reporting. So just we'll keep you updated once we go up live. We're just working on the port and uploading the information and see how it's presented before we go live, and I'll keep you posted on that. But I just wanted to let you know we are still progressing with that. In relate to the income tax that we've received for the month of January, we have collected thus far $1,691,327 compared to last year, $1,604,106. This reflects a 5% increase compared to last year. The refund amount is $3,036. This is included in January's collections. The net change in distribution for the month for individual net profit as well as withholding collectively is $210,090. And one last thing I wanted to let you know also, we are progressing very well as it relates to cross-training. We will not be going full with that until we finally close and do our W-2s, et cetera. So we'll be starting that process the second quarter. I'll keep you updated on that as well. That's all I have to report.
Thank you.
Okay. That's all we have this
That's
evening.
it. Thank you. Okay, time for legislation. We'll begin with ordinance 120, 2016.
An ordinance accepting the bid of Kavanaugh Building Corporation for the Glen Eagles Golf Club project.
I need a motion to adopt ordinance 120, 2016.
So moved.
Mr. Roden made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Discussion? I just want to say I'm going to recuse myself on this because I'm friends of Mr. Kavanaugh here, who you're considering.
As everybody knows, okay, I don't support putting in the large clubhouse. I think we need a building there. We need to do something up there, but I just don't support having a large clubhouse with the restaurant and the banquet facility. So that's the way I feel.
Anything else?
I'm just going to say, just in counter of that, not only just based on, I asked Derek to kind of pull some of the numbers of what we rent already at the community center, which if you've seen the community center, it's a great building, but it's not the prettiest. And I think we deserve better than that, some of those rooms, and I think we can make that happen for, as the golf chair said, you have nice rooms. There's a lot of events that we can do things at. But it wasn't a significant amount of money, but it can definitely become a significant amount of money. Plus, these things are things that we already do in the city. Like the restaurant is just an enhanced version of what we already do. The rental is just an enhanced, the banquet facility is an enhanced version of what we already do. We're not doing anything more or anything different. It's the same things we do, we're enhancing them, which is something you do when you enhance your house, when you remodel it. You enhance it because it's time to renew it, to make it better. That's what you do. So I'm totally for it. So that's why I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay.
I wanted to add something, too. There's a lot of, like, Twinsburg baseball or booster events that are held outside of the city because there's nowhere to have them. And I've talked to some people, and they thought having it locally at the clubhouse would be an awesome place to have our own outings and fundraisers.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
No.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
No.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
I'm recusing myself. So what was that?
4-2.
4-2.
4-2. The motion passes 4-2. Ordinance 121, 2016.
An ordinance amending the current year appropriations for the various general and special revenue accounts as established in Ordinance 108, 2016, the appropriation ordinance of the City of Twinsburg for the year 2017.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 121, 2016. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Discussion. This is the funding for the clubhouse. No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
No.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
No.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Ordinance 121, 2016 passes 5-2. Ordinance 124.
An ordinance accepting the bid of Miller Curb and Paving Incorporated for the storm and roadway improvements on Ravenna, Richner, and Charles Court.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 124, 2016. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Discussion?
Part of this program is also to put a sidewalk on the Chamberlain Middle School side of the road, which was proposed by Bob McDermott 12 years ago, and he brought that up every year since as long as he was on council. Watching Amy Moore, our city engineer, smile. It took a very long time to have this program developed, but it's something that was very important for Bob, who was on the safety committee at the time, and for the Ward 2, which Mr. Steele has right now, that the children of the middle school didn't have to cross the street, which, because there was no sidewalk, there was just a ditch. It was extremely dangerous. This has probably taken longer than I would have liked, but I want to thank Bob for his work on this through the years, and really was the driving force in getting this done, to make sure that those sidewalks were put there. Thank you.
Anyone else? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Rudin?
Yes.
Ordinance 124, 2016 passes 7-0. Resolution 1, 2017.
A resolution acknowledging council's receipt and review of the monthly financial statements submitted by the Finance Department for October, November, and December 2016.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 1, 2017. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Scafidi seconds. Discussion? This is acknowledging council's receipt and review of the monthly financial statements. Anything else? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Resolution 1, 2017 passes 7-0. Ordinance 3, 2017.
An ordinance accepting the lands and improvements dedicated to public use for the Corbett's Farm Phase 3 subdivision, accepting the maintenance bond and reducing the performance bond accordingly.
That's the second reading on that ordinance. Ordinance 4, 2017.
An ordinance accepting the lands and improvements dedicated to public use for the Fox Hollow subdivision, accepting the maintenance bond and reducing the performance bond accordingly.
That's the second reading on Ordinance 4, 2017. Ordinance 6, 2017.
An ordinance establishing membership fees and rates for the fitness center in the Parks and Recreation Department.
That's the second reading on Ordinance 6, 2017. Ordinance 7, 2017.
An ordinance establishing membership options and rates for the fitness center and water park in the Parks and Recreation Department.
That's the second reading of Ordinance 7, 2017. Resolution 9, 2017.
A resolution indicating council's support of the application for grant funds from the Clean Ohio Open Space Conservation Program related to the acquisition of 20-acre parcel of land at Creekside Drive.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 9, 2017. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. McFerrin seconds. Discussion. This is a resolution to support, indicating our support. Last week, we okayed Mr. Finch to seek a grant to make, see if he can work out a couple of grants to make this purchase alongside Creekside Drive, a parcel of land there. Any other comments?
No, this is strictly, again, the application process. Whether we move forward with, if we do get the grant, whether we move forward with the purchase really depends on what council thoughts are, the price, appraisal of the property, and those kind of things. So,
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Resolution 9, 2017 passes 7-0. Ordinance 10, 2017.
An ordinance amending the current year appropriations for the various general and special revenue accounts as established in Ordinance 108, 2016, the appropriation ordinance for the City of Twinsburg for the year 2017, and declaring an emergency.
I'd like to place Ordinance 10, 2017 on its third and final reading and declare it an emergency. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Discussion?
The reason for the emergency is we want to buy an ambulance that has a delivery date. It's out several months, and the sooner we can get it on order, the better.
Anything else? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
The emergency clause passes 7-0. Now I'll make a motion to adopt Ordinance 10, 2017 as an emergency. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Steele seconds. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Ordinance 10, 2017 passes 7-0 as an emergency. Ordinance 11, 2017.
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of one ambulance unit through Horton Emergency Vehicles for use by the fire department and declaring an emergency.
I'd like to make a motion to put Ordinance 11, 2017 on its third and final reading and declare it an emergency. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Who said that?
Me.
Mr. Steele seconds. Discussion.
This goes hand in hand with the other half of the, with the last ordinance, so that we've set up the account, now we're going to just place the order. So,
This is for the clubhouse, is that correct? Or no? This is the...
this is the...
Oh, this is the order of the ambulance, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Ordinance 11, 2017 passes 7-0. The motion for emergency passes 7-0. Now I'll make a motion to adopt Ordinance 11, 2017 as an emergency. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is that you? Mr. Steele. Mr. Steele seconds. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Ordinance 11, 2017 passes 7-0 as an emergency. Ordinance 12.
An ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of $6,138,000 of notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying costs of constructing, furnishing, and equipping a new clubhouse at the city's Glen Eagle Golf Club, including related storage, lighting, and drainage facilities, and clearing, improving, and equipping its site, and declaring an emergency.
I'd like to make a motion to put Ordinance 12, 2017 on its third and final reading and declaring an emergency. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Discussion?
I would like to, even if you are against the clubhouse, which we've already voted for, and it's going forward, and then we made another vote to put the monies, to put the account so that we can have monies transferred. In the presentation we had in the finance meeting from our financial advisor, and in this case, we do have a financial advisor, not somebody that's trying to sell us bonds, said that this market's very unstable and the rates are going up because of interest rates had gone up twice in the last quarter. So with this emergency in place will give us the flexibility to get this done at the best price in a timely manner. I would hope, even if you were against the clubhouse, you would support the emergency so that we could get the best rate possible moving forward. Thank you.
Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
The emergency passes 7-0. Now I'll make a motion to adopt Ordinance 12, 2017 as an emergency. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Scafidi seconds. Discussion?
Yes. This allows us to go out for financing in a short term. We talked about bands, which are one-year terms at a very low interest rate. Some people were posting online that they thought this was an increase in taxes. There is no tax increase here. It's not going to affect residents' property tax or income tax. This is absolutely just giving us the ability to purchase short-term debt as we go through the construction period of the golf course, which we discussed on paying that amount down and then going into long-term financing, the same way you would do with a house, so that we can get the payments in line so the revenues exceed the payments due, which is our goal as a council in a city, is to make this a profitable enterprise. And this is a piece to make that happen. Thank you.
I think I'd have to look at here, but it was section 10. There was the question, I think some people may have had it on, was the thing about the inside millage.
Yeah, it was section actually 9, I believe.
Okay.
Section 9.
Yeah, section 9. So basically, when any type of, these are bands, these are bond anticipation notes, short-term in nature, 12-month, but any type of whether it's a public entity or when there's collateral and there's a certain amount of guaranteeing that money. So this is standard language that's been prepared by a bond counsel, and that language has to be included in there. So what it's saying is that if for some reason the city is in some type of financial position and unable to pay this note, that is in essence collateral that we could use inside millage, which again would have to come back in front of council to determine what that would be to be able to pay this note. So this is not establishing that property taxes are going up or we're using inside millage. It's just part of the legislation that's required. I may have missed something Dave could add if he wants to, that we need as part of this legislation to be able to secure these notes.
And I would just add that the Ohio Constitution requires any funding of this nature, and the city's done this before. Anytime we've gone out for bonds to require a pledge of a tax, and that's what this is. And in the reference to inside millage, it references the city's 7 mil limit, which is charter language as compared to the standard 10 mil, which is provided, but Twinsburg's 7 mil, so that's where it's referenced.
Basically, it sounds to me just like your collateral for the loan. And I was at the finance, obviously I'm on the finance committee, I was here, I listened to, and I would butcher your name if I say it, so I won't, and I apologize.
Matthew.
Matthews, yes. Listen to your presentation, and it was interesting, and it enlightened me on how to do this. And I don't have, even though I don't really want to build a big clubhouse, I don't have a problem doing this to get it done. It is the best thing to do to try and get this financed as soon as possible because the rates are down. So,
Anything else? Anyone? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
yes.
Ordinance 12, 2017 passes 7-0 as an emergency. That's it for the legislation. Now our unfinished business and miscellaneous. Ms. McFerrin.
I have nothing.
Thank you. Mr. Steele.
I fully expected that I would be the lone person who would vote against the clubhouse. I just have a problem with the size and the amount of money for it. We do need a new facility up there. So from here on out, since council passed it, I'm behind it.
Thank you. Mr. Roden.
The only thing I have to say, on February 22nd at 7:30 p.m., the Twinsburg Orchestra is having a benefit concert. It is Mark Woods, who is from he's from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, so it's an all-electric concert. It's going to be very cool. Again, it's February 22nd, 7:30 p.m. It's at the high school. Tickets are $15 per ticket. You can get them at Parks and Rec office. It's either cash or check. But there's also a raffle that's $5 for one ticket or $20 for 5, and they are raffling off a Stingray SVX violin, which is an electric violin. So it should be a really great concert. If you've seen Trans-Siberian Orchestra, you know what that is and what they do, and it's going to be from grades 5th through the seniors. So it should be a really cool event, and I think the kids are all excited, and everyone should come out and check it out. So that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Scafidi.
Yeah, I really have just one item. I want to send a shout out to our community development director, Larry Finch, who is going through some medical issues right now, and I just want to send prayers out to him for a speedy recovery. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Stoffer.
I did just want to make people understand that I'm not against the clubhouse at all. I had the similar concerns, the cost of it, and I had people, some residents, addressing those concerns, and I just wasn't comfortable with making that decision right now. So I hope that you can respect that, saying that I am fully behind the clubhouse, and you all have my support, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Fury.
Right now, we have, the Park and Recs Commission has 4 meetings a year. They used to meet monthly, and then we reorganized things about 4 or 5 years ago. We brought them down to 4. I'd like to put them back to 6, So we have to do this by ordinance to change it. So at the next meeting, I'm going to ask that we have ordinance 129, 2016 updated to change the 4 to a 6. And we can discuss that further at that time, but that's going to come. I'd also like everybody to keep in mind, and we talked about hungry seniors earlier, our Community Hunger Center does a lot to feed hungry people in the city of Twinsburg. They're located at 9733 Ravenna Road. Terry Pateo is the director, and their phone number is 330-963-3663. If you have any canned goods and non-perishable food, also toiletries and paper towels and toilet paper, please consider donating so that they can give those to people in need in our community. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor?
Nothing really else from me. I thank council for their support of this project moving forward. And Ms. Stauffer, Mr. Steele, I respect your decisions. I had long meetings with both of you, and that's the beauty about our form of government. Why we do things is we have people with different perspectives and different ideas, and somehow it all works together. So I hope it's a success. I'm going to do everything I can to make it a success, and thank you for the rest of council that supported the project. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr.
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. Anything
Yeah.
over here?
I have one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Anything. I want to thank everybody for coming today, and thank you for the audience participation, and I hope more people will come to our next council meeting in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Shannon, anything?
Nothing this evening. Thanks.
Okay, then the meeting is adjourned.